It is Saturday, July 5th, 2025 at roughly 11:18 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm laying in bed, relaxing. I guess most people are already in bed. I don't know. I'm a night owl. But today is one of the most important days every year in my life. To me, it's even more important than my birthday because it's what I call my rebirth day. It's my sobriety date. I got sober on July 5th, 1986, a mere 23 years old. And I was very young and had two little kids. They were 4 and 2. And my daughter Alicia actually turned 2 when I was in treatment. I missed her second birthday. I didn't miss any other ones. And this time of year, right around the 4th of July, the days leading up to the 5th, it's not that I dwell in the past. There's a difference between dwelling and reflecting. And I just remember where I came from. And I remember the complete hopelessness that I felt. And I remember my last drink. I remember my first drink at 10 years old like it was yesterday. And there's not a lot of stuff that I remember very good that detailed. And I remember my first drink because it glued me together at a mere 10 years old. And I chased that feeling for another 13 years and damn near died. And almost lost my kids. My marriage was gone. We were in the middle of a divorce. The kids I was just pawning them off on my mom and dad and grandparents as much as I could because I wanted to drink. And I lived to drink. The only thing that was in my head was how was I going to get the next drink. And and the last 6 months was actually about the last year or so. It just kept getting worse. I went to jail for a night over public drunk and some other craziness because I was a blackout drinker. I would get a few drinks in me and we were off to the races, and then the lights were on and no one was home. I was functioning and acting like I was there, but I wasn't there. And I would come to out of a blackout and try to figure out where I was. Who am I with? What am I doing? Oh my God. Where's my car? It just, everything. It was crazy. And things just kept getting worse and worse. And I could not control my drinking at all. And I remember especially the last 3 months just asking God to let me not wake up. I didn't want to live. I prayed every day, please God, let me die. That's just where it took me. I just did not want to live. And I had convinced myself that my kids would be better off without me. And frankly, if I hadn't got sober, they probably would have been better off without me. So, at the crack of dawn, right at just before the sun peaks up in the sky, I woke up, came to, behind the steering wheel of my ex-husband's car, and I thought, oh my God, He took my car because it's better, and he's gone, and I'll never see my kids again. And I was filled with this absolute terror. And I just said a prayer. And it was, F you, God, you want me sober, you do it, I'm going to get drunk. And that was the most honest prayer I ever said in my life. I didn't make any bargains, I didn't make any promises. I just told the truth. And I didn't realize at that moment what that prayer would do for me. And I went to church the next day because that's what you're supposed to do to get your shit together, right? And I'm not saying church is bad, it just didn't work for me. But every time I would try to fix things, I would go back to church and get saved and baptized again. So this was just another trek down the aisle to get saved and baptized. And one thing led to another, and two people who just happened to be at that service who knew me, one knew me a little, the other one knew me really good, just happened to be in recovery themselves. And they were the angels that got me to treatment. And I can just remember being like a scared, wounded dog in the corner somewhere in treatment. But the one thing I had more than anything was the desire to stay sober. I truly wanted to stay sober because I knew that drinking I would just be a walking dead person. And that's the worst kind of torture in the world to me, was what I was going through, because God wouldn't let me die, and I didn't want to live. And so the fact that I stayed sober through treatment blew my mind. When I got 90 days, I couldn't believe it. And God just put angels in my path. I went to meetings. I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I can break my own anonymity. No one else can. But I can just remember that. And what it does is it fills me with immense gratitude, because I know where I came from. I know. If you saw that crazy young woman now and you see me, I'm not perfect. I promise you, I am not perfect. If you get in my way on the highway, I'll flip you off. I'm by no means perfect. And if I speak my mind, I don't pull any punches. I don't play games with recovery. And there's a lot of women that know I won't play games and I don't waste my time. So, but I remember back there, and to me, to stop for a few days and reflect on how far God has brought me, it fills me with massive gratitude, because I promise you, I don't work the steps perfectly. I work the steps, the 12 steps. I've worked every one of them, and I worked them over and over until they started working me. And I gotta tell you, I have lived through things I never thought I could live through sober. When my grandmother fought cancer for 3 years, I didn't drink. When my second husband relapsed, I lived through that, and I didn't drink. I didn't drug. I haven't since I got to treatment in AA. I haven't. I don't even have the desire to. I buried my father. I buried my stepmother. I've buried grandchildren. So many things. I lost my hearing in my first year of sobriety. Talk about a major hurdle. And to know that I stayed sober, that was God's grace. That wasn't anything to do with me working a perfect program. Not at all. It was God's grace. I pray every morning and ask Him to keep me sober and clean and thank Him at night. And if God happens to put somebody in my path to help, I do. And I just think about, I have 2 grown children. I have 4 granddaughters. 3 are adults. 1 will be in another 6 months. I have 2 little grandsons that are, I think, 6, and 1 will be 1 soon. I have 3 great-granddaughters, twins, and another little granddaughter who will be 1 soon. If I had not stayed sober, I would have missed out on the most beautiful things in my life. My little tribe. That's what I call them. They're my little Looney Tunes tribe. And that's a term of endearment, that we are not perfect. We get loony, but we love each other. And I am so grateful for that. There's just so much in my life. And, you know, I have people in my life that I love, and they love me. And I'm just so grateful I haven't gotten drunk. Because I wouldn't want to miss it. I wouldn't want to miss the things, even with the hard parts. I wouldn't want to miss the life I have. And so, I'm grateful for my husband and my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids and all my friends. And it's not like I have a bunch of them, but you guys know who you are. And there's somewhere in the big book that says our past became our greatest asset. And it's talking about how we can use our past to help others. So I think for me it's important to remember where I came from, to be grateful I'm not there. Don't dwell in it, don't live in it, but reflect on it, acknowledge it, and thank God. And right now I am so grateful I'm sober today. And if you happen to be someone that thinks you might have a problem with alcohol, go look up AA. Find a meeting. Tell them it's your first meeting. Everybody's been to their first meeting. There's no shame in getting help. So, I love you guys. Good night.